There's a particular kind of silence that happens at a dinner table, not the peaceful kind, the kind where somebody has just said something with an edge on it, and nobody answers, and the only sound left in the room is a fork touching a plate. Maybe you were 9 when you first noticed it. Maybe you were 14, and you felt the pressure gathering in your chest. Not fear exactly, more like a countdown. And then you heard your own voice say something completely ridiculous. A terrible pun, an impression of a neighbor, a comment about the mashed potatoes that made no sense at all. And somebody laughed, and the room let go. Shoulders came down half an inch. Your mother exhaled through her nose. Your father shook his head and went back to eating. The thing that was about to happen quietly didn't happen. And you felt something you couldn't have put a name to back then. But if you named it now, you'd probably call it relief, with a small thread of pride running through it. Because you did that. You reached up into the air of that room and pulled the temperature back down, with a joke. If that memory arrived faster than you expected, stay with me. This one is about you. There's a name for what you were doing, and it isn't a flaw in your personality. In the 1970s and 80s, a family therapist named Sharon Wegscheider-Cruse, working with families affected by addiction, noticed that children in chronically stressed homes don't simply struggle at random, they organize. Each child, without ever being handed instructions, takes on a job that helps an unsteady structure stay standing. She described several of them: the hero, who achieves and makes the family look fine from the outside; the scapegoat, who acts out and carries the blame; the lost child, who disappears so completely that nobody has to worry about them; and the mascot, the one who makes everybody laugh. We've spent time with the other 3 on this channel. This is the last one, and it might be the hardest to see from the inside, because from the inside, it never feels like a wound. It feels like a talent. Here's what the mascot actually does. When tension rises in a household, somebody has to bring it down, or the evening goes somewhere nobody wants to go. The mascot is the child who learned to do that with humor, with silliness, with timing, with a well-placed distraction. A joke at the right second can genuinely redirect a room. It buys 10 minutes. Sometimes it buys the whole night, and the family feels the relief. That's the part worth sitting with. The relief is real, and everyone receives it. Everyone except the child providing it, who is learning something quietly underneath. That they are valuable when other people feel better. That being loved and being useful are the same motion. Nobody planned this. That's important. Most families who end up in this arrangement got there through circumstance, not intention. Illness, money, grief, exhaustion. A parent who was doing the very best they could with what they had. Nobody sat down and assigned you the role of comic relief. You just noticed it worked, and you kept doing what worked, the way any child would. So what does it look like years later? Not as a list of adjectives, as scenes you might actually recognize. You walk into someone's apartment, and before your coat is off, you know the weather. 2 seconds. You can hear it in how somebody says hello. And you already know which version of yourself the room needs, and you're already becoming it. Other people call that being perceptive. It's also a skill built under pressure, in a house where reading the air fast enough mattered. Your friends describe you as the fun one, the easy one, the person who lightens things up. And they mean it kindly, but you've had a week where you barely slept, and you were still the one making everyone laugh at dinner on Thursday, and not a single person at that table knew. You didn't lie to them, you just never opened the door. Somebody asks you, sincerely, looking right at you, "Are you okay?" And something in you flinches. It's uncomfortable in a way that's hard to explain. You'd rather they ask you almost anything else. So you say something funny about how you're barely holding it together, and it lands, and they laugh, and the question dissolves. You handled it. You always handle it. Or this one, you say something true, something that cost you a little, and then, within about 4 seconds, you make a joke about it. The joke is the exit door. You built it before you walked in. You let someone see one real thing, and then you immediately gave them permission not to take it seriously. And here's the one that tends to land hardest. Try to remember the last time you let someone watch you be sad. Not tell them about it afterward, tidied up and already resolved, but be in it, in front of them, without performing your way back out. For a lot of people who carried this role, that memory doesn't come. Meanwhile, you can remember the last time you made someone laugh without any effort at all. That was probably yesterday. There's often a strange inversion too. Your funniest stretches line up with your worst ones. The months you were struggling most are the months people remember you being hilarious. Because the harder things got inside, the more the old job kicked in. And then there's what happens when the audience leaves. You get home from an evening where you were on, genuinely on, the whole night, and you close the door behind you, and something drops. Not sadness necessarily, more like a light going off in a room you didn't realize was lit. You sit down, and the funny is simply gone, because there's nobody there to be funny at. That gap between the two versions of you is worth paying attention to. So why is this so difficult to put down? Because it works. That's the honest answer. Unlike some of the other roles, the mascot gets rewarded constantly. At home, at school, at work, in every friend group you've ever joined. People are glad you're there. You're invited to things. You are genuinely, warmly loved for it. Nobody is asking you to stop. And why would they? You make life easier to be in, which means putting the role down doesn't feel like healing. It feels like a threat. If you stop being the one who lifts the mood, you're afraid you'll become the one who lowers it. And to a person raised to manage other people's comfort, becoming heavy is close to unthinkable. There's a quiet fear underneath it that goes something like this. If I'm not entertaining, will anyone stay? There's an identity question tangled up in it as well. When a role has been yours since childhood, it stops feeling like something you do and starts feeling like something you are. The funny friend, the light one, the person who makes the group chat bearable. Setting that down, even a little, can feel like walking out of a room without your name. I want to be careful here, because humor is not the enemy. Your sense of timing is a real gift. It makes people feel safe. It diffuses things that need diffusing, and it is not something to apologize for. The question isn't whether to keep it. The question is whether it's the only door you have. A gift you can choose is different from a reflex you're required to obey. So if any of this sounded familiar, here are 5 small things. Small on purpose, because nothing here needs to be dramatic. 1. When you feel the joke rising in a tense moment, just notice it. Don't stop it. Don't judge it. Only notice, this once, that the impulse arrived. Awareness first. You can keep telling the joke. 2. Try leaving one pause alone. Once, in a low-stakes conversation, let a slightly awkward silence exist for 3 seconds without rescuing it. See what happens. Usually, nothing happens. That's the discovery. 3. When someone asks how you are, give them one true word before anything else. Tired, stressed, off. One word. You can add the joke right after. You're allowed. But let the true word go first. 4. Practice being unfunny where nobody's watching. No audience, no stakes, nothing to save. Alone in the car, on a walk, in a note on your phone. Say the plain version of what's going on with you, with no audience and no punchline. Notice who's there when the performer sits down. 5. Let somebody else lower the temperature. The next time a room gets tight, stay still for a beat longer than is comfortable, and let another person handle it. They might handle it badly. The room might stay awkward, and you'll get to learn, in your body rather than in theory, that you are not the load-bearing wall. If you grew up as the mascot, I don't think there's much use in resenting it. That child was doing something intelligent and kind with almost no resources, reading a room, taking a reading, and offering the only medicine available. That deserves respect, not embarrassment. But you're not 9 anymore, at a table you can't leave, responsible for whether the evening goes well. You get to find out what you're like when the room doesn't need managing. You get to be funny because it delights you, not because something bad happens if you're not. And the people worth keeping? They won't only stay for the jokes, they'll stay for the pause afterward too, when you finally let it be quiet, and let them see you anyway.